and it collects dust. You opened it and say, wow, this is a really cool widget. You put it down, you don't touch the widget again. Is that honest? Do you honestly need that? And so it's based on a false desire of having something unnecessary. To have something unnecessary is unjust gain. So, do I really need to make this business deal? Do I really need this account? Do I really need that extra hour, 2 hours, 3 hours is going to take away from my family, or things that I really should get done, but I'm not going to do it because I've chosen to do this that's going to do absolutely nothing for me. These are decisions we make. We all make these decisions. I make these decisions a lot here lately. So I have to ask, is this going to affect my relationship with others around me? And ultimately, is it going to affect my relationship with Elohim? But this verse has a four-step method to think about when we're seeking excellence, or are we just seeking to acquire excess? And the first one, we say, rulers of thousands. Thousands. The numerical value of Aleph is 1, but it's also 1,000. So the first thing I'm doing is, have I taken time to take it to Elohim? And we say, oh, I'm going to pray about it. Do we pray about it? Because we've talked about this before. In Hitbodedut, when we take the time to go off by ourselves, close ourselves up, and talk things through with Elohim, pray in our language, not just pray, but talk. Lay everything out to Elohim, saying, look, I have this decision. I don't know if it's the right decision. It's going to be really great, but on the other hand, it's not going to be so great. What should I do? I'm laying it out. And I'm taking the time to really communicate with Elohim, because, believe it or not, you're going to get an answer. Yeah, it's going to come to you in a funny way. You're going to be drinking coffee, and all of a sudden you're going to, oh yeah, no, that's not a good idea. I can do this, and this is a better way to go about it. So prayer, something that we can easily neglect. But what we see in this verse is this is the first thing we should appoint. The second one is discernment, hundreds, which is the kof. Kof is the root of the word kodesh, which means to separate, means to set apart. In other words, have I separated and dissected my options to understand what my goal truly is? Have I used discernment in looking at this decision that I have to make from all the options that I have? This is the next step. I've prayed about it. I've gotten some ideas. I'm looking at it from all the options. I've got the backing now of the Ruach. My spirit is ready to receive. Now I'm looking at it from all the options, and it's no longer me that's really paying attention, but now it's Mashiach that's paying attention. Because I can do all things through Mashiach, who strengthens me. He gives me the ability to see things that I can't see. What does this do? It brings us to the next thing. It affects life and soul. How is it going to be? And this is 50s. 50 is what? The numerical value of Nun. How is this going to affect my life? The lives of those around me? And most importantly, my relationship with Yehovah Elohim. It affects my life. It affects my soul. The first time that we see Nun as the root of a word in Torah is in the word nefesh. It means soul. And it was talking, when it said nefashim, it was talking about life that was swarming in the waters. So Nun represents both life and the soul. 50, it's the third thing down the road. I've prayed about it. I've looked at it from all the options. Now I'm considering, how is it going to affect my life? How is it going to affect the lives of those around me? Because Torah in Leviticus 18 and Yeshua both said that I should love my neighbor as myself. So it's not all about me. I have to keep others in mind. Paul tells us that I should keep others in mind before I do things for myself. Okay? And ultimately, I've prayed about it, I've looked at it, I've discerned it, I've picked it apart, I've considered how it's going to affect me and my relationship with Elohim, and finally, I have to make a decision. Truth, power, and ability. Tens. The Yod. Am I depending on my own perception of truth and my own strength and ability, or am I depending on the truth, power, and the ability of Yahuwah Elohim to guide me in seeing the difference between excellence and excess? These are just guides. They call it the Torah because it is an instruction book. We just have to learn how to say it's more than just a story. I mean, what we read here in the story, if we just read the Parsha, we'd simply read, okay, well, Jethro was impressed with everything that happened with Moses. He came to visit him, brought the wife and kids, had dinner with Moses, saw Moses freaking out, wigging out, getting worn out by dealing with 2.5 million people all day long. Jethro gives him some good advice. Moses takes the good advice, and they all say, oh, we're happy. And what's the next thing they do in this parsha? They go to the mount, and Elohim descends and gives them the Ten Commandments.
And they split up into conservative reform.
They split up into Orthodox, conservative, reform, and
Baptist.
And remember sometime around 60 BC that they had an oral law that they could, write it down, and 100 years later have a Talmud. But we see that this does more for us than simply tell us a story.
Mm-hmm.
It prepares us to receive from Elohim. Any questions?
Powerful lesson.
It's awesome.
Any answers? Good. Well, I guess we've achieved proofiness.
Well, just like it, we picked up on your